Today we will be starting our unit on fractions, and today we are going to review basic fraction concepts. These are things that you have learned since probably kindergarten or first grade, and so we're going to review them today, and then we're going to move on to harder equivalent fractions, adding and subtracting fractions, and potentially multiplying fractions by the end of this unit. So I want you to write on your whiteboard 3 ways that fractions are used outside your math class, and bring them over to share with me. Pause your video while you do so. All right, great. I need you to take out your student reference book and turn to page 43. On that page, you're going to find other uses for fractions. After you're done reading this page, which will include this information here, make sure that you come and give me a couple main points from that. If you'd like to write them down, you sure can. Pause your video while you do that. All right. Now, take out your whiteboard. You're going to do some mental math and reflexes. You're going to find the next 3 multiples in each sequence. So I'll give you an example. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. So essentially you are skip counting. However, you're not always going to start at the first number. Sometimes it'll have you start somewhere in the middle. Spend the next couple slides pausing the video to write on your whiteboard and then coming back to check your answers. So pause your video for the next 2 problems. All right, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and 18, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, and 27. Pause your video to complete these. 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36. Remember, when we skip count like this, we're calling it multiples of a number. 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, and then 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54. And last but not least, we're going backwards here, so be careful. Pause your video. 56, 48, 40, 32, 24, and 16. 54, 45, 36, 27, 18, and 9, and 56, 49, 42, 35, 28, and 21. We need to talk about a couple different concepts when it comes to fractions. Remember, a fraction is always a fraction of something. For example, 1/2 of an orange, or 3/5 of a mile. This something is always called the whole or the one. So the whole would be a whole orange, and I want half of it. The whole would be the whole mile, and I want half of it. The parts in which a fraction is divided must be the same size. They must be fair shares. So I couldn't separate this circle like this, because that would not be fair shares. I have to separate it in a way that would give each person or each whatever a fair share. So this would be 4 shares. So if I only wanted one of them, this would be called 1 out of 4 shares. Often I use this fraction bar and say 1 out of, or this could be said as 1 divided by 4, or 1/4. Often I say 1 out of 4 because that's what's obvious. 1 shape is colored in out of 4 shapes. If I had 2 shapes colored in, I would say that is 2/4. 2 out of 4. If I had 3 shapes colored in, I would say that is 3/4, or 3 out of 4. And if I have 4 shapes colored in, I would say that's 4/4. 4 out of 4, and when the numerator and the denominator are the same, I say that that's a whole that equals 1. And you can see right now, 1 whole is shaded in. It's common for fraction notation to be a over b, so like 1/2, 2/3, but they can also be written as a slash. So you might see it as 1 out of 2 with a slash, 2 out of 3. If you see me typing, that's often how it's going to look because it's hard to type a fraction like this on your computer. Often people type it as 1/2, 1/2 or 1 out of 2. These numbers, 2 and 1/2 and 1 and 3/5, are called mixed numbers. It means there's a whole and a fraction. So this would be 2 circles, so 2 and then a half circle. 2 and a half, or 1, maybe 1 square, and then 3/5 of a square. All right, so we say that these are mixed numbers. The number below the fraction bar is called the denominator. So the 2, the 3, the 7, the 10, that number is the denominator. It names a number of equal parts. So if I have a circle, 1/2, I'm going to look at the 2 to determine how many parts I need. Well, for 1/2, I need 2 parts because I'm looking at this number right here. If I'm looking at 2/3, then I need 3 equal parts. If I'm looking at the 7, maybe I'll do a fraction bar here. I need 7 equal parts. If I'm looking at the 10, then I would need 10 equal parts. The numerator is the number that's on top and names the parts under consideration, or the parts you're going to actually color in, shade in, look at. So if Sue ate 2/3 of a pizza, the pizza is the whole, so I could draw the whole. The fraction 2/3, I'm going to look at the denominator, tells me how many parts. So I'm going to have 3 parts. And then it's divided, and Sue is going to eat 2 of them. So I'm going to consider 2 pieces. 1, 2. So this would be 1, 2 out of 3 parts. So 2 out of 3, or 2/3. Today you're going to use pattern blocks to divide shapes. Now, the whole is going to be whatever shape is here. So this is a hexagon, so I put the whole as a hexagon. If I go to number 2, this shape is a rhombus, so my whole will be the rhombus. It wants me to divide the hexagon into 2 equal parts. You can do that with or without pattern blocks. I might suggest that you go grab a bunch of pattern blocks right now as you're about to do this page. So let's say I divided this hexagon into 2 parts. Well, that would be 1 trapezoid, 2 trapezoids. And then it wants me to color half of the hexagon. So the 2 meant how many parts, and the 1 means how many I'm coloring in, or how many I'm looking at. So I would color in this part. Please do number 2, and then come show me your work, and do so again after number 3. Remember, the whole is the shape that is here. You're going to do all the way through number 8, and then you're going to do this last page where it asks you to fill in the missing fractions. So this one started for you. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 sections, so I know that that's going to be my denominator for all of these fractions. And then I'm just going to determine how far I went. So I went 1, so that's 1/4. For this one I went 2, or 2/4. For this one I went 1, 2, 3, so 3/4. Take a look at this one. How many sections is it divided into? Not how many lines, how many sections? 1 section, 2 sections, 3 sections. So my denominator will be a 3 for both of these. See if you can finish 9, 10, and 11 and come check your work. And then do 12, 13, and 14 and come check your work. Make sure you pause your video. We're not going to be doing this, but when you are done, you're going to have time to do your math boxes. Good luck.